This is a teaser for an augmented reality series I've put a lot of thought into and a lot of notes and such. I'm going to use a lot of sources from games, movies, and books. And I would say that this is going to be very interesting. There will be some Star Citizen comparisons, and of course, but mainly it's going to be devoted on my concept of what augmented reality is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years. So, a little bit long term. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to my long term subscribers. I greatly appreciate you sticking around. So, without further ado, I figured as a teaser, let's talk about a day in the life of someone who has an augmented reality piece of equipment on their head and a device in their pocket that is designed to feed in information to that device that they have. Mainly, it looks like a pair of glasses. Jay awakes from his sleep. He hears a beeping noise on his bedside table and reaches over and grabs the device. It stops beeping. His glasses act as his alarm clock. He immediately puts them on while he sits up and starts to size up his day, where he is due at work in less than an hour. He has his meetings scrolling on the bottom of his pair of glasses, and it suddenly dawns on him that the weather today will include rain and will be in the 50s, so he should probably pack a reasonable jacket. While he is getting dressed, the news starts to sneak in after his meetings for the day. He's chosen to have a side scroller, a lot like old school national news companies would have at the bottom of their screen during their programming. And it is from his favorite feeds from across the internet. He suddenly thinks about what he's going to have for breakfast, and he realizes he doesn't really have enough time. He slept through his first alarm, and so he makes a mental note to order some food on the way. He does actually a simple gesture by holding his hand like he's holding a hamburger, and that is the signal to his device to order him a breakfast sandwich from his favorite restaurant. After he is dressed fully and he is heading out the door, after he completes his hygiene needs, he walks over to the bus stop. The bus is approximately 6 minutes away, his glasses tell him. While he's waiting, he watches his favorite streams, and he notices that two other people are at the bus stop. Both people play the same game as him. There is an augmented reality game where people can play to earn points, and those points can be positive or they can be deducted negatively from their accounts. They both have quite high scores. However, Jay's is higher. Jay asks them, the lady closest to him, what type of a style of the game that she plays, and she tells them that she likes the Battle Royale style of the game. There's an area where that is played downtown in a park every Saturday. And he told her that the last time that he's been there was about 6 months ago. As they chat back and forth about strategies in this park, the bus pulls up. There's no money exchange when they get on the bus. The bus already knows who you are when you walk through the doorway. It is simply deducted from your account. In fact, the glasses explain to Jay that he is at his 19th ridership, and on his 20th ride, the bus ride will be free, encouraging people to use this new form of AR technology. And in a way, the AR technology has kind of superseded many other kinds of technology because it has quietly and gracefully implemented them into itself. NFC communication and the systems that allow you to see when the bus was coming and such already existed, but they were in your pocket on your phone, which constantly meant you had to take your attention away from the world when you use them. Jay doesn't have to do any of these things. He simply wears his glasses. And he thought for a moment about his prescription. He's noticed that things are slightly more fuzzy than usual. He, before AR glasses were released, has had to wear glasses all his life. He has a near field view in one eye and a far field view in the other. While he's sitting on the bus, taking his 20-minute ride towards his breakfast sandwich, he basically books a virtual appointment with an optometrist. The glasses are already doing the tests. The human optometrist views the information and the video feed that from the inside of the glasses pointed towards his eyes, and has determined that he could actually use a slightly different pair of prescriptions. Those prescriptions are instantly sent over to the glasses, adjusted by the device in his pocket, and they are shown to him while he views the world. That's right. He has adjustable glasses inside his AR headset. Pulls up to the breakfast place. While he's in there, he immediately grabs his sandwich. It is marked on the counter. There is basically a box that is sitting on the countertop with not a screen, but literally the equivalent of a hologram above each person, indicating their name that they use in the AR platform. Some people choose not to use this. They are still using cash or credit cards without this other implementation. But a vast majority of the people coming through the door prefer not to have to wait, prefer not to have to interact with anyone at that place, for better or worse, and they simply grab their sandwich and move on. He is now briskly walking towards his work. His first meeting is in the next half hour. He fires up his Outlook while he's walking, and he views his emails just to make sure there wasn't any last-minute changes to the meeting. While he is viewing his Outlook, he notes that there is a new chat in his chat program for his company, and it notes that there are some indeed changes. The reason that chat was highlighted and placed on his glasses was because the program itself that's running in his pocket and presented on his glasses knows he has a meeting with certain people. Therefore, any chats from those people instantly is put at the bottom of his screen, interrupting his news feed, interrupting his weather reports, interrupting his favorite vid that he's watching inside the glasses. It simply supersedes all of them through a prioritization process. He has to be at work. His work comes first. Therefore, that's how it goes. The only thing that would supersede this is if an ICE contact, an emergency contact on his phone that's sitting in his pocket, was calling or texting with the emergency prioritization picked. Or an emergency alert to the public was issued to the area. So, as he continues in, he walks through the door effortlessly to his company, which requires the use of this equipment, and he simply walks past security. It has a green check mark, and the security personnel smile and wave to everyone coming in. Should anyone come in without this equipment, a visitor or some such, even if they forget to sign in, it would immediately flag them. The security are also wearing the glasses, and they can see the green check marks actually hovering over people's heads as they walk past. Or, in the case of someone who has not been approved yet, a neutral symbol, and then finally a red symbol as they walk past the line on the ground in the lobby that indicates you're walking towards the elevators and stairwells without being approved. Jay walks upstairs. He chooses to use the steps due to the breakfast sandwich he consumed on the way. And as he reaches the meeting room allows him in due to his invitation to the meeting, and also puts on the screens around the room, and we're going to use that loose word for screens around the room, his favorite information and his customized profile for what he wants to see. His corporate chat's to his left, and on the far wall is his entire Outlook. And then finally, the person's actual presentation is sitting on the table between them, hovering in midair. The presentation is preloaded into the room, and the choices of what's on the walls is actually based on what you're wearing for your glasses and your choices of customization. The company chooses where to put the presentation. However, usually people tend to mod things a little bit, and as long as they are able to view the presentation in the preferred way that they want, The company looks the other way. While he is reviewing the presentation, a set of slides and multimedia videos and such, he picks up the presentation. It was hovering in front of him on the table, but he's able to basically put it on the equivalent of his lap and kind of swipe through it quickly, almost like speed reading a book. And he is able to simply swipe with his hand to move to the next slides. When he gets to the multimedia video, he notices that there's some details in this video of the company's current project that he desires to find out more information about. So he simply takes that video piece by making a photo frame gesture with his hands and then throws it, physically takes his hands and pretends to throw a ball basically in front of the glasses. And they detect that he wants to throw that to the wall as a big screen video. In the corner of this video, while it plays, there is a everyone, friends, company, orgmates, and personal use in the corner. And what that means is, if he wanted to, he could take this video of this presentation and share it with everyone in the room or anyone who has visual of this in this space, whether it's in this room or not. Because these glasses are not just used in the company environment, they are used in all your life. He is watching on the big screen currently as just viewing for himself, so he keeps it at a self level. He has his settings, so any video he puts up are automatically put to the self setting unless he changes it. Some younger people in the world choose to put it as viewed to everyone, because most of the time it's their own content that they're trying to share, and they're trying to share it as widely as possible and get as much attention as possible for what they're doing in their lives. As he's watching this video, he notes that the company's new project to build a large building has some concerns in the marketing implement. They are not using the latest designs that he helped provide. And this presentation is about to happen in 5 minutes. What is he going to do? He pulls the video down and he contacts everybody in chat, which is still on the wall to his left, and he simply tells them there is some issues with the design that we're presenting to the boss. How are we going to handle this? Quickly, he pulls the designs out of his files, which he has access to because he's inside the building. The security has determined that he is the rightful owner of those things, and he is assigned to this project. Therefore, it releases the design documents to him. He takes the design documents, which look like a mini version of the building, into the palm of his hand by gesturing up with his palm of his hand towards his eyeglasses where the design is sitting on his left side. By doing that motion, he has explained that he wants the design in his hand to place it somewhere else. He takes his hand and places it on the table. Instantly, the design is available to him. He brings it larger by moving his hands like as if he's pulling knitting needles away from each other, and it makes the design larger. And as he makes the design larger, he can point out the two major issues with the presentation. He makes the hand gestures that make it look like a photograph again, with like two L's shapes in the corners, and he clicks, and then he spins the counter again by turning his hand like a clock backwards halfway, and then he does the same hand gestures. He now has pictures of the changes in the design. He takes those pictures by grabbing them, that are now floating in front of him, and he throws them towards the chat, like as if he's throwing a baseball sideways, towards the left wall. And they immediately say to him, Sue finally gets up first, and she says, I'll handle it. Just stall for about 5 minutes. And now Sue is taking those photographs from the design, and she is putting them into the video. People are starting to trickle into this meeting. It's about a minute before the presentation was due to begin. And he explains that his team needs just another 6 minutes. And as he's explaining this, he tells a few anecdotes about the project. He also starts the presentation that he has now been fully briefed in on, and he switches his view on the wall from private and self to org-wide. So anyone who's inside the room for the approved reasons is now able to see it. As a side note, as a security precaution in some of these more extreme executive style meetings, there is no windows in the rooms. There's only one doorway or two doorways for safety, but these doors do not have windows in them. And the idea is that if somebody walks by and the wrong setting is placed on the different content, they would simply walk in and they'd see an empty room, even if everyone was sitting there. It's a way to protect organizational security in the most safest, simplest way by simply setting the permissions levels at the correct levels and having people invited to the meetings. You know who has access to that information. No other living soul can get access to it. So, as he's stalling, the boss is starting to ask questions. Sue pings Jay. He sees on the chat on his left side. I've got it. Put it up. Put it up. Sue's on her way down to the meeting, but before she even makes it to the meeting, Jay already has access to the content because it's in his chat. He grasps the chat like as if he's once again taking a baseball, but instead of throwing, he's catching, and he takes it to pointing it towards chat, and then he throws it again towards the wall that he was presenting on. The permissions are set up for the room. The two new photographs have been added to the new video. He plays the video. And the boss is thrilled. He's able to see this brand new building with the latest revisions flawlessly within minutes. Time in development space is measured in minutes now, hours, when things used to take weeks to develop and get approved and go through the process. The boss has his own headset, and he has his own system that he has set up for performance metrics and evaluation. What he does is he checks off a physical check mark that everyone in the room can see. But if he was trying to be more low-key, he could have simply done it later. He has chosen to show the entire room what he is voting for, and he also publicly shows the check mark, much to the approval of Sue, who's still on her way and sees in chat the photo that Jay has taken about the check mark floating next to the project that is on the wall. And through this, they know they have succeeded. The group then takes the project, but Jay has one last surprise. He flicks the model that's still sitting on the desk, only visible to him, to public. The whole group of the room is viewing it on the table. The boss is thrilled. He widens it out, he checks it out, and he asks if he could keep a model for himself for his table. Jay gladly shares the file. So now the boss can actually put the model on his desk to show off to people that are part of the company, and also as a prideful thing of what his team built. The model simply is now his as well, and digital content is shared in a way that only can stay in that building through approved users in those approved spaces. What's fascinating is that all of this happens seamlessly, effortlessly, just with a pair of glasses on your head. And that is, I think, the view of AR. This is the end of the teaser. Sorry. It's the end of the story. And this is basically the model view of augmented reality. In a perfect world, it only enhances what's already there. You could take dozens of technologies and make do, so to speak, with all of these things. You could be in that meeting and have frantically be tapping away on a laptop and constantly glancing down, taking your eyes away from your boss and having conversation. You can share models of things, but it's not the same. You see, AR is the glue that's going to hold a lot of technologies together that are still there. They still exist. They have been approved and utilized by governments and large companies and personal people and hobbyists for many, many, many years. And whether you're a power user or you're at the most base level as a elementary school student, AR will be a part of your life. And this series, I have a view to dig deep into each one of the topics of the underlying technologies that would be required to make augmented reality a possibility. So if you like these kind of things, please, I need your feedback on this one. First of all, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to my long-term subscribers. That's my number one goal, is to please help me get these subscriptions up. But also, hit like, comment, and that's all I'm going to ask from you. I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking for anything other than just your feedback and a little thumbs up and things like that. So that's all I got for you. And I hope that this was interesting to you. I know this is a little different than my normal Star Citizen content. I have spent, well, years accidentally. I've been into VR space for many, many years. I have my OG Vive sitting in the corner on a head model, and I also have my Vive to my left right now, just hanging out with my knuckles. And I can tell you that some of the greatest experiences of my life were in virtual reality. And I feel this feeling that VR is just the tip of the iceberg. When we finally master augmented reality, I see it as the culmination of many different technologies to be integrated into your daily life in a way that is not invasive, in a way that is enhancing your life, both your goals and your career and your education, as well as personally being able to make the most out of life. Spending more time in parks because there's more exciting things to do. Meeting new friends that that align with your same goals and your same dreams. Being a gamer and being able to be outside and having a blast with everyone else. A lot like that blip that was Pokemon Go. To me, true augmented reality is going to make your life better, safer, make you a more awesome person than that you already are, but let other people truly see it. So once again, thank you for your time. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking around, and I wish you a great day.